Good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Big Mike Talks. I know it's a little bit of a late one. I meant to do this video earlier today, but I ended up having a very extensive laundry day. So I was a little distracted when it comes to filming. So instead of trying to rush it tomorrow, I figured I'd take some time, do it here at 10:30 at night. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. Gonna be covering NWA Power, MLW Fusion, and AEW Collision. I'll try to give you the cliff notes to the matches, because I am not gonna go through everything. I'll try my best to keep this short, sweet, and watchable. So we are going to start off with NWA Power. Don't start off with any promo. It is a match between Tyler Franks and Carson Drake. Now, to begin with, this was a little awkward. Eventually, it did pick up with Franks taking advantage. But after a Burning Hammer attempt, Carson Drake hit the stock market crash for the win. I do wish this match was given a teeny little bit more time, because I feel like they just got out of first gear. So hopefully these two guys have a more extensive match in the near future. So next scene, we got a weird scene between Tommy Henry, Kylie, and Kenzie Page, where Kenzie and Kylie are yelling at each other about what happened in the number one contendership battle royal that happened at the Crockett Cup, where Kylie eliminated Kenzie. But then Tommy Henry chimes in and says, "Look, you two are sisters. You got an opportunity at the tag titles. Let's go win the gold." So Kenzie and Kylie shake hands, then they hug, with Kenzie kind of backpacking Kylie and taking her off screen. So I guess that's fine now? I don't know. This is going to be a weird situation. Especially with later for the tag team title match. We'll get there. But first, we got a Kerry Morton in-ring interview. Now, I'm going to take my time with this one because I think it's really interesting. So, he starts off saying, "I hope many fathers can relate to what happened at the Crockett Cup. My father said, I have to look out for your best interests. And when people see Kerry, they see money. And while I'm here in the NWA, you all saw what happened at the Crockett Cup when my father told me to take Idol to pin Silas. And I think my dad had my best interest at heart. I am the face of the NWA. I am Mr. Kerry Morton to you, sir. And I am the next NWA World Heavyweight Champion." And before he leaves, he says, "And as for the Southern Six, I've been on my own, touring the territories, winning. Silas, it's going to be the same thing, and you're going to see the new NWA World Champion. And that is what's best for business." So, yeah, not really a full explanation of what happened, but at least we got some details. So it was Kerry listening to his father, Ricky Morton, a living legend, and yeah, I guess turning heel on his boys. So yeah, it looks like the Southern Six are pretty much done, and Kerry Morton is riding solo, which I don't mind that at all. Then we get a little recap of the NWA World Title match TV title match scramble from last week, in which apparently Alex Misery won, even though everyone pinned Wrecking Ball Legursky, which that's definitely quite the view. And then post-match, of course, Eric Smalls comes in, punches Daisy Kill in the twig and berries. I'll keep it PG. Speaking of Daisy Kill, we got a little pre-recorded message from the man saying, I'm a little pissed off. Now, after that abomination in the TV title match, Smalls, I got a big old surprise coming for you. Just sit, wait, and watch. A big surprise. So either that's going to be literal and we are about to see a giant destroy Eric Smalls, or we are going to see a cosplay little person come in and they're going to have a weird match. Speaking of a weird match, this might have been the weirdest match of the night. So it was Damien Fenrir, who, great athlete, love him, taking on a member of the McCord collection. So either it was going to be Bones or it was going to be the former Gags the Gimp, in which apparently he's got a new name. I'm not sure what it is, and I'm not sure if he actually joined or not. But Mr. McCord picks Bones. And like I said, this was a really, really weird match. Because apparently Bones is a voodoo priest or whatever. So any move Fenrir did, he just gets back up Undertaker style. And after a Spanish fly for a 2 count, then a beautiful lightning bomb, your winner is Damien Fenrir. Which, interesting match. Definitely a little weird. I do think Bones does have a place in the NWA. I'm just kind of hoping it's going to be figured out a bit sooner rather than later. Next, we have Tom Latimer and El Dragon Nehan. They're talking strategy in the back, when Throwbelly Silas Mason walks in and formally accepts his challenge for the NWA World title. And then Silas Mason says to Latimer, hey, take it easy on my boy Argentino, okay? And then they shake on it. Then we go to an NWA training seminar with no, this isn't Wrecking Ball Legursky yet. I think this is, it was Mike Mondo screaming at somebody. I forget who it was. And again, I think it was Brian Idol, actually. They almost come to blows, and the other trainees stop them. And I'm going to say this. I think this next match was the best match of the night for NWA. We have Cristiano Argentino taking on Tom Latimer. And honestly, this was a very fun back and forth. Argentino definitely got some stuff on, including his entrance crown, which apparently gives him power somehow. Argentino attempts a powerbomb that gets blocked by Latimer. It's an atomic drop. Couple of clotheslines, and the velvet noise before a DDT. Then gets him up, finishes him with the brighter side of suffering to pick up the win. So, again, I think that was definitely the best match on the card, just because it made the most sense. Again, I wish it did go a little teeny bit longer. Then we kind of have the weirdest segment of the night. So, it's Carson Drake and Aaron Stevens. They're on the set of Carson Drake's talk show. and they're shooting the shit, getting ready for whatever match is coming. Then the Slimeballs and Tiffany Nieves walk in. Slimeballs see Carson Drake and Aaron Stevens, and they're like, "Oh, we didn't. She's trying to steal stuff." Which, a little racist, guys. Don't do that. And then Tiffany, who apparently was a guest on the Carson Drake show, said, "No, I'm not. We're not doing this. I'm out." Then calls for Greta, who doesn't show up, but then the Slimeballs are just looking at each other and say, "Yeah, we're out of here. We're gone." So they run off, and we kind of see Stevens and Drake kind of giggling a bit to themselves. So next up, we got our main event match of the evening of NWA. It's the NWA Women's Tag Team title match being defended in a triple threat match, which, that's always fun. So we got the Hex, the defending champions. That's Allison Kay and Marty Bell. Pretty Empowered, who I figured would be broken up at this time. So that's Kenzie and Kylie Page. And then the final team is really, really thrown together. It's Hollywood Haley J and then Clara, who I think this is my first time seeing Clara. Yeah, this definitely started out chaotic. Everyone was in and just beating the heck out of each other. Then, right before we're about to go to commercial, we see NWA Training Seminar Part 2, where we see Wrecking Ball Legursky working with this younger guy who kind of looks like a mix between Amazing Red and Tarzan Duran, if that makes any sense. And then we kind of see Wrecking Ball. He's in the ropes. He's a little blown up. Then we see the Country Gentleman kind of making fun of him. Then Wrecking Ball leans over to the other side. He's talking to, I believe first was Latimer, who's like, "Oh, I wouldn't change a thing about you." Then Kenzie Page, who was a little bit savage, was like, "Oh, you gotta lose some poundage, man, if you want to get your edge up." Then Natalia Markova comes in and says, "You could maybe lose the singlet. It's too much." Then we get to McCord, who's like, "Dude, unless I put you in a mask and put you in my crew, you're not worthy to be a pro wrestler. So hang up your trunks, leave your boots in the ring, and leave." That was savage. I honestly feel bad about that, because it was kind of fat shaming a bit, but yeah, I feel bad for Wrecking Ball. I hope he wrecks every one of the members of the McCord family, or whatever they're called. So, back from commercial break, back to action. Overall, this match was fine. Hex hit the Hex Express on, I believe it was Haley J, but she wasn't the legal person. So the legal person ended up coming back in. Big spear from Kylie Page, which that was awesome. Haley J goes for the power slap, whiffs, hits a knee on Kylie, hits the power slap, which that looks wild. Allison Kay with the big elbow, hits the Hex, marks the spot, but Kenzie Page gets in, couple of chops, big boots, about to hit, Hex marks the spot, that gets blocked. Kenzie with a couple of super kicks, and then a cutter. Kylie with the roll through drop kick, and your winners and new NWA Women's Tag Team Champions, Pretty Empowered. And I am going to say this. That was the most unexpected title change I think I've ever seen. Would have liked to see the Hex go hold these tag titles for a little bit longer, but I do understand why they made the change, as it will probably enhance the breakup of Pretty Empowered, which I do believe is still the plan. Overall, a pretty okay episode of Power. Nothing really to write home about, although I did love the Argentino Tom Latimer match, and then the segment with the with Wrecking Ball in the training seminar. So that should be interesting. So yeah, that was NWA Power. We then move on to MLW Fusion. And oh boy, it is big title fight night. But we start off with a recap of the Cross Riddle rivalry so far, which honestly, it's kind of been an interesting little rivalry. Then we get a card rundown. Start off with our first matchup of the evening for the MLW middleweight title, as it's Alan Angels, yes, Alan Five Angels from the Dark Order, taking on Contra's own Kushida, defending the title. And he's coming out with Contra's newest recruit, Okumura, former tag team partner of Satoshi Kojima, who have been fighting Contra for a while. So, yeah, this match it did start off a little bit slow, but it did eventually pick up the energy more than a bit. But eventually, Alan Five Angels hits Kushida with the Halo Strike, and then as Alan Angels is about to hit the Angel's Wings, Kushida moves out of the way, pushes the ref into Angels. Ref hangs on. Kushida with a nasty heel kick into an arm breaker for the submission win and the retention. That was a very underrated match, and I'm going to say if you got a couple minutes to spare, go give it a watch. Post-match, Kushida does not let go of the arm breaker for a minute. Ref eventually stops him, but then Kushida locks the armbreaker back in, with the ref literally peeling Kushida off of Alan Angels. Then after that, Kushida gets out of the ring, grabs a Contra shirt, presents it to Okamura, who now is officially in Contra. So, yeah, hopefully we get to see more of Contra Unit in the near future. Obviously, Kushida and Okamura aren't the only two members, as we've seen in the Battle Riot, which, if you haven't seen my review for that, I'm sure it goes back a couple months. So, yeah, hopefully we get to see more of Contra. Although, something very interesting comes at the end of this episode about that. Well, wait for it. Anyway, so we go to a pre-recorded Killer Cross promo. I think it was right after Battle Riot, but before, the taping started. So he says, "This isn't the first time me and Riddle fought. Now the stakes are even higher because the MLW World title is on the line. Well, Riddle, one thing that'll stay the same, we will both go for the choke. It's a game for us because we know it's coming and it's only a matter of time. At the Battle Riot, I became world champion, a blood king of the Battle Riot, and Cross Riddle 2. A lot of people don't take Riddle seriously. He's got the laid-back surfer gimmick. It's a deception. He likes to hurt people. In the end, everyone pays the toll. Tick tock. Matt Rose. So, a very interesting look into the relationship between Cross and Riddle. Then we see Matt Riddle kind of warming up in the back somewhere when he hears a little bit of a ruckus, turns the corner. Alex Hammerstone is there. He's got a lead pipe being held back by officials. Then you kind of see Riddle goading him into attacking him. But the officials hold Hammerstone back. And we'll get some more news on Hammerstone in a little bit. But first, we got the wildest matchup of the weekend. A Chicago street fight between Joshua Bishop and Matthew Justice. It has been way too long since we've seen either of these two guys. And they absolutely brought it. Like, they brought every weapon they could think of, including headshots with a chair, which, I'm sorry, I cringe every time that happens. Because I remember Chris Benoit. Sorry to reopen that old wound, but let's ease up on that. Then we're over kind of by the merch table. Matthew Justice sets up a couple of tables. And that's where the head chair shots come in. Then Joshua apparently lands on one of the tables somehow. Then Justice goes further up into the crowd to an area where Don Gatto's sitting on his throne, which is pretty high up. So Justice hops over the railing, and jumps from that area. And it looks like his body went through the table, but it looked like he did not hit that crossbody at all. And he gets up, and he's pouring blood from his head. I hope that dude's okay. So eventually we get back to brawling in the crowd for a little bit. Then we see Joshua take Matthew Justice up into the bleachers a bit. Hits a razor's edge move off of the bleachers through a merch table sitting there. Bishop goes down to that area, pins Matthew Justice for the win. So, yeah, that one was a wild matchup. I hope both men are okay, because we've obviously seen the results of too many chair shots to the head. And, yeah, hopefully both men are okay. We then get a little rundown of the rest of the card. At this point, it's the MLW World Heavyweight title match, and then some sort of announcement from Cesar Duran, who we haven't seen him since Battle Riot. So we'll get to that. Then we have this weird Don Gatto ad, which, you know, doesn't really add any lore or anything. It's just kind of there. Then we get announced that in 2 weeks, I believe, it's MLW Fusion episode 200, which that's honestly pretty cool. Congratulations, MLW. Then we get a couple breaking news stories, as we see Alex Hammerstone has been ejected from the arena. Small spoiler alert, that'll come into play. Then we get announced a brand new title coming to MLW. It's the Southern Crown title. So, I'm gonna say this. Yes, is it a little too many titles for a wrestling promotion? Maybe, but I'm interested to see how this is implemented. So now we go to our main event matchup of the night for the MLW World Heavyweight title as Matt Riddle takes on Killer Kross. And then it looked like Riddle was about to attack Kross before the bell starts, but the ref stops him. I think that is the first time I've ever seen that happen. Like, I don't know if that was, like, not part of the script or something. Or if Riddle was going into business for himself or whatever. But I don't know. And honestly, I kind of like it. There's obviously a line between kayfabe and real in wrestling you gotta toe the line of. And I feel like that toed the line a bit. Kind of like the old days. Overall, this match was fine. It was definitely hard hitting, and obviously both men going for the rear naked choke. End of the match comes with Kross locking in the cross jacket on Riddle. Then who comes out? It's Alex Hammerstone. Breaks it up. Match gets thrown out. So then Hammerstone and Kross brawl for a little bit. Riddle goes for a low blow, but Hammerstone catches it. Hammer and Riddle brawl for a bit until officials come out and break them up. But then we see on the outside Riddle and Hammerstone going at it a little bit. So, this is, I do hate a non-finish like this, but I feel like this is fine because it includes another former MLW World Champion that should be in the mix. And honestly, triple threat between these three, I'm in. And then we get to Cesar Duran's announcement. I'm not sure what this was going to be. But then we get the Contra logo on the screen. And I'm thinking, oh. Then we hear this disembodied voice saying stuff like, oh, you were expecting someone else? Well, we've handled Cesar Duran like we handled Mads Kruger. We'll see what the future holds for MLW. So it looks like we're getting a Contra unit takeover along with the reveal of a higher power. And I'm gonna say this. If this ends up being Vince fucking McMahon, I'm gonna be pissed. Like, I'm dead serious. So it looks like we're going to be getting some big boss in MLW at some point. So, I'm definitely cool with that. See what we got in store for Fusion coming up. And now we finish with AEW Collision Summer Blockbuster. And I'm going to say this was a great hype up for not only Forbidden Door, but also I feel like it was a more entertaining show than Dynamite. Don't fret, I enjoyed Dynamite this week, but I think Collision blew it out of the water. Especially after our first match. We get Kenny Omega taking on TMDK's Bad Dude Tito. Now, if you don't know who this is, Bad Dude Tito is in a group in New Japan Pro Wrestling called The Mighty Don't Kneel. And it includes Shane Haste, the former What would you know this person as? I forget his name in WWE. Then his partner is Mikey Nichols, which was the tag team TM61 in NXT. Wow, I cannot believe I remember that. And then, of course, their Big Boss member, Zack Sabre Jr., who we already seen confirm having a match with Kenny Omega. So this is like, oh, to get to me, you gotta see this guy. And I'm gonna say this. Oh, first things first, Bad Dude Tito, he lives up to his name. He really is a bad dude. He definitely overpowered Kenny Omega early on, but Kenny eventually fights back. A little bit more back and forth, but eventually Kenny hits a V-trigger and then a one-winged angel to pick up the win. I do wish this opening match went a little bit longer because I know Tito maybe is capable of it. But honestly, it was a nice, pretty well-paced bout. So post-match, Kenny Omega gets the microphone and says, about a week ago, I asked myself, what's next? And it came to me. I wasn't in time for the Owen Hart Cup, but a message came to me from Zack Sabre Jr. And Zack, let me introduce you to the world. Before we had the best technical wrestler in Bryan Danielson, in the same breath, people would say your name. I was considered to be one of the best ones, but Zack, you are what takes me to the next level, and I'll see you at Forbidden Door. MJF, I'll see you a bit after that. So, nice little promo from Kenny Omega. Short, sweet, to the point, which is what I absolutely like. Then we go backstage for a promo from Mark Davis and Kyle Fletcher, with Kyle asking the crowd to say their full name. Then he turns to Davis saying, I know you're not feeling great about not getting to the Owen finals, but the reason you didn't is because of Takeshita. At Double or Nothing, I thought that would be it and we'd be done with him, but he keeps getting in our business, and I want to take some revenge and bring back the international title back to the Don Callis family. This brings in Okada, who says, yes, it's time to bring the international title back. Put Okada, and they all walk off. So it does look like Callis family and Takeshita are going to continue their feud, which I am totally fine with. So now we get our first... Then we get our first Survival of the Fittest qualifying match, where the winner of this match gets put into a later match to potentially gain the vacant TBS title. So we got one of two matches with this coming later tonight. First, we got Hikaru Shida taking on Zeta Steel. And while this match was a little awkward to start, eventually it did pick up with with a lot of really good back and forth, including Steel locking Shida in an octopus hold briefly, but Shida gets out using the eye rake. Shida with a knee, only to get a 2. Hits either a suplex or a brain buster, then locks in an ankle lock, but also kind of a half crossface, which doesn't seem to have a name yet, but wins Shida the match. And as Shida's celebrating, she attacks Steel post-match with her manager, Christopher Daniels, which I can't believe I'm saying that. breaks it up, and Shida gets out of the ring. So, very entertaining matchup. We'll see. Hikaru Shida is now qualified for survival of the fittest. Anyway, then we go backstage for an interview with the Ops, which is Hook, Katsuyori Shibata, and Anthony Bowens. Samoa Joe is off either shooting something for Twisted Metal or doing press for Twisted Metal. I'm not 100% sure. So, Anthony Bowens starts this off saying, "The future of the Ops is bright. Joe has taught me everything I need to know about violence. And it's time for everyone in the crowd to give the Ops a standing O." We kind of get that from the crowd, but then Hook's like, "Enough! We don't care about the applause from them. We care about destruction. Me and Shibata have been in the Ops for a while. You're new. Stop acting like you're the leader." And from that, then Hook turns to the interviewer and says, "If you want to talk to the Ops, you talk to me." And then he and Shibata walk off. Anthony Bowens kind of follows, rolling his eyes. So are we about to see an Ops civil war with Bowens and Joe potentially, and then Hook and Shibata? I don't know if I'd say no to that. Although personally, I think I'd say the Ops should kick Hook out of the group. Anyway, next up, we got this squash match, which I don't mind a good squash match. We got Dez and Desmond Xavier and not Trey Miguel, Zachary Wentz of the Rascals taking on Austin and Aaron Atlas. That's right, it's AAA, baby. And this was a Rascals beat down. This wasn't even close. This was the Rascals' greatest hits, hitting the hot fire flame to pick up the win. Then Dez grabs some microphone, says, "Ayo, we Rascals have traveled around the world. We're the hottest trio around, and it's only fair that Cincinnati see all three of us wrestle tonight. So why don't we bring out our third, Myron Reed." So Myron Reed comes out for his match, which is a TNT title match against Kevin Knight. And oh boy, I'm going to say this. This is going to be my match of the weekend. Because this had absolutely everything you could want. And you know what? I'm not going to explain the match. I am not going to give you who wins. I'm going to say, go watch this match for yourself. It was fantastic. So, post that, we get a weird Divine Dominion hype video, which I wish their AEW would be doing a little bit more with these women. I wish they had something with more meat on it than just either promo or squash match. Then we get an interesting pre-taped promo from Meyer World, who says, "Sunday, I got the worst news I could ever get. My brother passing away. Tony Khan told me I could take the day off, but I told him I needed to be here in AEW. And when I took to the ring, I won my match. And I moved on in the Owen Hart Cup. And now I have to deal with Athena. And everything you taught me will bite you in the butt. I'm taking this opportunity to its end. You better be ready." Maya World with the hot fire. I cannot wait for that match. Speaking of that match, we got an Athena promo. And she's actually live in the back. She says, "Bite me on the ass. It's crazy here. Struggling with my ambition versus my morals. Maya, I really am sorry what happened to your brother. But what about me and my achievements? Just because I taught you everything you know doesn't mean I taught you everything I know." Ooh, I love that. She continues, "And here's a message from your teacher. Just because you're the it girl doesn't mean you're not living in my world." Oh, that was fire. Tony Khan, I'm going to ask this like most people ask. Let's keep Athena on the AEW roster. She is way too good to be stuck on Ring of Honor. Let's get her on more regularly post the Owen Hart Cup. Actually, speaking of Athena, she has a match with Tiara James. And again, this is a squash match. While Tiara did get some stuff in, this was the Athena show. Finishing off with a flatliner into the Koji clutch for the submission win. No O-face, no stunner. Athena then lets go. She's posing with the title. Then she attacks James post-match. This brings out Maya World for the save, in which it looks like Athena just soaks to the back without her title. Then Maya checks on Tiara James. Athena then comes back out, attacks Maya World, and then has her stomps her right into the Ring of Honor Women's title. So, that match is already going to rule. I cannot wait. Then we take a little commercial break, come back, and it's a promo from The Demand. So that's Ricochet, Bishop Khan, Toa Liona. Although it's mostly Ricochet taking the lead, saying, "Since I got here, I've been a success. Well, while there have been successes, there's also been a lot of downs. I lost my national title in a battle royal. I conquered Jericho, and now I'm back on my quest for gold. And Takeshita, I'm coming for you." Hell to the yes. I am so down for that. Once the stuff with the Don Callis family's over, Takeshita, Ricochet, sign me up. So next matchup, we got a really interesting matchup. It's the Dogs, so that's Clark Connors and David Finlay, taking on Nick and Matt Jackson, the Young Bucks. And this match was so much fun. If you're a fan of tag team wrestling, you're absolutely going to be a fan of this. So near the end, Young Bucks hit the BTE trigger. They're about to hit the Meltzer driver, but David Finlay gets his shillelagh and hits both Bucks with it. Clark Connors with a big spear for a 2 count. Then a double hip toss. Connors with a spear off the apron on Nick. Then a full clip on Matt. So your winners are the Dogs. I am certainly surprised that the Dogs won that matchup. I guess we'll wait and see what that means. Will we see new tag team champions if they beat Cage and Cope in the near future? Then we get a Dynamite recap segment, which I'm going to say this, I absolutely love this. It fills in some certain gaps for certain stories. I do wish we had this for Collision on Dynamite, because I feel like it would grab so many more people's attention to watch Dynamite, Collision. Then we get a conglomeration promo. So it's Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong, Tomohiro Ishii. So Kyle O'Reilly takes the lead, and they're all wearing like school photo t-shirts, which that's amazing. So Kyle says Mark has a path to the title, and on Dynamite he's going to reveal his team for that cage match. And I'll forever hate Max, and after we smash through the forbidden door, we're going to have a new AEW World Champion. So, yeah, it definitely looks like the conglomeration are hoping that they're going to be picked for the cage match. We shall see. Then we get kind of a side-by-side Forbidden Door Dynamite card rundown, which I thought that was pretty cool. Then we have Thekla, who comes out of the crowd, stands on top of the announce table and says, "Let me understand this correctly for my actions. I'm not apologizing to anyone, and whoever thinks any of those little Joshi girls deserve any respect, please shut your mouth. Stardom, you had me and then fired me. But look at me now. I'm the AEW Women's Champion and the biggest attraction in the business. And when I spat on the logo on the Tron, I did you all a favor. Everyone is now talking about Stardom because of me. But now my saliva is worth more than anyone in that locker room. That whole locker room wants me. So Stardom, send me your best, and I'll give her a shot at the women's title. Mr. President, let me buy you a front row seat to the monster you have created. And that's the biggest mistake you ever made." So, yeah, I love the intensity of Thekla. And spoiler alert, we do get a reveal who Stardom is sending in like a segment or two. We'll see. So next up, we get a promo for the Bang Bang Gang. So that's Juice Robinson, Ace Austin, and then Austin and Colton Gunn. With Juice Robinson taking the lead, saying, "Dogs, why are you rolling around with the Bucks, Cage, and Cope? I brought a strip mall with a pet store in it so I can get you fixed and put on the cone of shame. Once you're done with those boys, come find us." I'm going to say Juice definitely said a little bit more, but I was a little slow on the draw. So hopefully someone could fill that in for me. So next up is the other TBS title Survivor of the Fittest qualifying matches. It is Julia Hart of the Triangle of Madness taking on CMLL World Women's Champion Persephone. And I'm going to say this. I love the design of the CMLL Women's title. It's just so nice and symmetrical. And also Persephone is still kind of selling her eye. Like she's, corrupted or whatever by Sky Blue. And yeah, this match was really, really, really fun. Really good back and forth between the two. At one point, after a suplex and a 2 count, Julia Hart rolls out, sees the TBS title on the pedestal, goes over and just hugs it. And then Persephone gets out of the ring, hits an electric chair driver into the title, which that was a really cool moment. A little bit more back and forth. after it looked like Julia was about to corrupt Persephone, but Persephone slapped the spray out of Julia Hart's mouth. Then Persephone with the crucifix bomb to pick up the win. So, yeah, that was definitely a fun matchup. And we got two participants of Survival of the Fittest. Can't wait to see who else qualifies. Next, we see it will be Starlight Kid challenging Thekla for the AEW Women's title at Forbidden Door. Heck yeah, I love Starlight Kid. She is so good. So then that cuts right to a Thekla interview where she says, "Oh, you little bastard. Starlight Kid, I know you and I despise everything about you. This is going to be good. This is going to be good. You've never been to AEW, so I'm going to make your first time a living hell. But remember, Stardom's blood will be on your hands." Ooh. I'd love to see a retort from Starlight Kid. While it's a shame Stardom doesn't do like weekly stuff, I would like to see a retort from Starlight Kid. Next up, a match I never thought I'd see on any major TV, but we got two former DPW Tag Team Champions facing each other one-on-one. We got Speedball Mike Bailey taking on Jake Doyle, the former Jake something. And like I said, they teamed up in a promotion called Deadlock Pro Wrestling, where they were tag team champions for a little bit. And yeah, this was basically, this felt like Batista versus Rey Mysterio from years ago. You got just overwhelming power versus tactical speed. And it was, yeah, this was just so much fun. But after a tornado kick, Mike Bailey goes for the Ultima Weapon, whiffs. Doyle with just the straightest powerbomb I've ever seen to pick up the win. So, yeah, that was definitely a fun matchup from two tag team champions. We'll see how this helps Jake Doyle's trajectory. And then we get our main event, as it's a team versus team street fight. So it's the Death Riders being represented by Jon Moxley, Daniel Garcia, Claudio Castagnoli, Pac, and Marina Shafir. Yes, we got women in this match, taking on Shane Taylor Promotions. So that's Shane Taylor himself, Captain Sean Dean, Carly Bravo. I knew I'd get there. Lee Moriarty, the Pure Champion, and Trish Adora. So as the Death Riders were making their entrance, in which they're outside for it, so you got these little guardrail lights going off with the red lights that the Death Riders use. As they're going into the arena, Shane Taylor Promotions kind of pops out from out of nowhere and jumps the Death Riders outside the venue. They don't really start the match out there, but they certainly kick the heck out of each other, including the infantry putting these like barricades and burying Claudio Castagnoli with it. Eventually, everyone does get into the arena. And then we get all kinds of weapons, including Shane Taylor with some brass knuckles. Then Trish Adora brings out, then we get tables, chair shots. The infantry have these like helmets they have with their entrance. They used that a couple times. Then we get Christian XO, who apparently is another member of Shane Taylor Promotions. She distracts Garcia from a pile driver. Then Shane Taylor gets in with a KO punch. Then XO grabs a chair, sets it up on the inside. Then the infantry with a couple of stomps to Daniel Garcia inside. Then we see the infantry taking off Marina Shafir's boots and socks, which that's definitely a first for her. Then we see Trish Adora holding a little black bag. She dumps it out. It's like thumbtacks, but not like the little metal ones. It's the ones you see that are like plastic and they pin up certain things in homes. And broken glass, which I'm thinking, oh no. So then, infantry get them up for a suplex, but put her feet first into the combination. Shafir sells it for a second, then she starts rubbing her feet into it. Then hits kicks on everybody with all that stuff on her bottom of her feet. Claudio then with a military press slam to Lee Moriarty to the outside. Moriarty with a knee lift and then a Border City stretch. Then Garcia takes a shard of glass and cuts the fingers of Lee Moriarty. Then he locks in the Dragon Taylor. Shane Taylor breaks that up. Moxley with a sleeper to Taylor. Taylor powers out. Moxley with a cutter. Couple of clotheslines and uppercuts from the Death Riders. Then Moxley with a paradigm shift with the rest of the Death Riders defending his position to pick up the 1, 2, 3, and your winners, the Death Riders. I'm going to say, if you like a more hardcore style to your wrestling, you're going to really enjoy this. Is it a little bit of a cluster, you know what? Absolutely. But I think this was the most fun cluster, you know what, I have ever seen. Overall, Collision was really, really good this week. I'm going to say, not just watch a couple matches. I'm going to say sit down. Either after you have dinner, give it a watch. Because it's worth it. So, that'll do it for me from tonight. I know it's getting a lot closer to midnight. I do apologize for that. I really wanted to get this done today. So I don't have to worry about it tomorrow. So, hopefully you guys all enjoyed. And until next time, happy wrestling, everybody. Peace.